We just got our first official look of what the future of Islands of Adventure might look like, and it comes, first things first, in the closure of a big attraction.
And that would be Poseidon's Fury in the Lost Continent, which, honestly, that is probably one of the weakest parts of the park, is that particular island.
Which is a shame, because it's not badly themed at all. Like,
No.
it's beautiful, but...
It looks great, but there's not a whole lot to do when you compare it to some of the other areas in the park. It's not even close.
It was based off of an original idea, and it had a whole lot more than originally just Poseidon's Fury. They had the 8th Voyage of Sinbad, which that theater has been sitting vacant for several years now. So really, after this, the only thing that'll be there is the Mythos restaurant. That begs the question, what do you do next? Because now, if you look at the theater that Sinbad occupied, plus the land that Poseidon's Fury had, we're looking at a huge plot of land.
So as of May 9th, 2023, Poseidon's Fury is closing forever, which, didn't they just refurb this not that long ago?
Yeah, it was actually closed because of COVID, and so they had a delayed reopening of it.
Yeah.
So actually, I did the attraction for my first time, I think, less than a year ago. I've only done it like a couple times, because for most of the time I've been going to Universal, at least as a pass holder, it's been closed. And then, as a day ticket holder, Poseidon's Fury was never one that was on my list. Like, even though it was like something I'd never experienced before, I'd always go to the other attractions instead.
Yeah, the thing is, it's very cool, but it is also very outdated. Like, you can tell that it opened, I think, with the park.
It was with the park. Yeah, this was
so
one of the
old.
original ideas, and it shows.
I think it's old, but I'm pretty sure it's like the same age as me.
I mean, you said it, not me. Listen, this is a cool concept. It's fun, but then you get to the ending scene and you see some of what they have, and you're like, oh, they should either update this or, in Universal's case, they just decide we're just done with it.
The thing is, I'm wondering what direction they're going to take this. Are they going to entirely retheme that area? Because without that, like you said, there's only Mythos. Like, they have essentially a blank slate. Like, if they wanted to, because they could retheme the restaurant. Although it is the best theme park restaurant according to
Theme Park Insider.
Yeah, like, so I don't know if they want to touch that. But they could keep the theme and just use those combined locations, like you said, the old theater, plus this whole, like, walkthrough attraction, and make something really awesome.
Here's the problem, is we live in an IP-based era, where, I mean, Disney's doing this, Six Flags is doing it with what they got, like, I mean, even Cedar Fair's like, Snoopy, stuff like, you know. In Islands of Adventure, Lost Continent is the only one not based off of an intellectual property. You have Marvel, you have Seuss, you have the different cartoons, Harry Potter, Jurassic Park, and then Lost Continent. It strikes me as something that they probably will not keep.
It's the odd one out. As much as the IPs are fun because of something you connect to and relate to, I do kind of miss the days of just original ideas and attractions, because Disney's going the same direction.
Yeah.
As it stands right now, the Lost Continent, more than anything, feels like a walkway to the two best areas of the park, and there's not really, like, much of a reason to stop along the way, except maybe to look around or something. But, you know, you've got Jurassic Park on one side, and then you've got Hogsmeade on the other.
Yeah.
So it's like, most people are just going in those two directions, and they kind of just bypass
Yeah, you take
them.
the bridge to Velocicoaster, or you're like, oh, I want to go check out everything in Harry Potter. I mean,
exactly.
It makes sense that they put something to get people to stay in that area.
And I feel the same way about the Toon area. So I think those are the two areas that need to get beefed up, while the other ones are pretty immaculate, honestly.
I'm honestly surprised that they are doing something about the Lost Continent before Toon Lagoon. I thought Toon Lagoon needed it way more than Lost Continent.
SpongeBob.
Like, Toon Lagoon feels like the odd one out. Poseidon's Fury and that whole area where the Lost Continent is, like, at least it looks nice. I don't even know if I would say that Toon Lagoon looks nice. It's just like,
fun.
It's okay. The Lost Continent has also been at a disadvantage ever since Harry Potter opened, because originally Dueling Dragons was part of the Lost Continent, and then they combined it into the Wizarding World of Harry Potter when they got rid of Merlinwood.
Yeah.
So Lost Continent has been slowly but surely on its way out, I think, for the past several years.
Yeah.
I think that this was inevitable, even though I was kind of surprised that this was happening. I didn't expect it to happen until maybe after Epic Universe. But I think this is the answer of what does the future of Islands of Adventure look like while we have all the stuff going on with Epic Universe and studios. You know, we know what is going to be going on with Kidzone. They're going to retheme it probably to DreamWorks. And so for a while, it was looking like Islands of Adventure was just going to go untouched. We hadn't heard of any new projects. But with Poseidon's Fury closing, Yeah, it could sit there empty for a couple of years. We have seen that happen before in the past with other attractions, but also they could start taking this thing down immediately and then boom, now you have a huge flat space. So what does the future of this land look like? Well, the leading idea seems to be Zelda. Now,
that's crazy.
The whole story behind this is that when Universal was in talks with like Nintendo, they were also talking about not just doing Mario. It was gonna be like Pokemon and Zelda, and we can sprinkle them throughout the parks. Because originally Super Nintendo was gonna go in studios, and then they said, okay, let's put that in Epic Universe, so maybe we could do Pokemon in studios and then Zelda in islands. But everything got shelved. Why? It seems like the reason was because they wanted to see how Nintendo was actually going to perform first. So at this point in time, now we have it open in Japan and in Hollywood, and it's on the way to Florida. So
clearly it's performing well.
Yeah.
Otherwise we wouldn't keep building more of that.
I mean, we went to Universal Studios Hollywood for it, and it was slammed.
Yeah.
It was so popular. Now, does Zelda have the pull that, Mario does?
I would argue no. I would argue they have a very, very dedicated fan base, but I don't know if it's big enough. Nintendo is something that several generations can connect to, but I feel Zelda's a bit more
niche.
Niche, yeah, something like that.
But here's the advantage with Zelda. Now, I've never played the game. However, I've seen some
played it
shots. No. Okay. Did you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Well, then the landscapes are beautiful. Mm-hmm. It's like this adventure kind of mystical realm that could lend itself to a really cool theme park area. It almost gives me Lord of the Rings vibes. Like they could do something really pretty that, we've been to some theme parks where we didn't know the IP, but it
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter if they tell a good story, and it's just something that you can just walk around and be like, wow, this is amazing. So I think Zelda has the potential to work actually pretty well if they did it right. Now, it also come down to what attractions you put there. A while back, there was a ride concept for something that started off as a boat ride and then would be lifted up by this arm and be lifted out of the water and into this like flying now ride system. Think like Peter Pan. So it's like starts off as Small World, then turns into Peter Pan. So the idea was, okay, well, that could be for something Zelda related, which, Islands Adventure doesn't really have like a classic like boat ride. Like they have water rides, but this isn't like a water ride. This is like a slow moving dark ride. I think that has the potential to be something cool, and they'd be removing 2 indoor attractions essentially and replacing it with an indoor attraction, so that would make sense. But what else could they do here? What else does Islands need?
Well, one thing that I thought of was when you look over at, at studios, they have multiple indoor roller coasters. They have Mummy and they have Gringotts. Islands of Adventure doesn't have anything that isn't outdoors. The weather's not great, like they shut down the roller coasters.
Which happens a lot in Florida. If you haven't been here, it rains every day in the summer. Every day.
Yeah. I think it would make sense if they wanted to go for something very state-of-the-art indoor roller coaster technology. I think that would fit really, really well. And that's not just me being a roller coaster enthusiast, being like, build a roller coaster, but like, you could do something that involves the elements of dark rides and also combines it with a roller coaster like Mummy does.
Yeah.
But newer and better.
Yeah, I almost think about like what PortAventura is doing with Uncharted.
Yeah.
Like from what we've heard about that attraction. That seems like something that's pretty cool.
And they like working with Intamin, clearly.
Yep, that is definitely true. And we've seen how companies have gotten more creative with indoor attractions, putting in all these cool elements. Guardians is a great example.
Yeah, that's a fantastic example. That's the best thing Disney's put out in a long time.
It would just depend on if they wanted to make the replacement for this land essentially one big attraction with like the land that kind of taking a back seat, or make it more focused about the land that happens to have a ride. It's going to be something interesting to watch, but regardless, I think that this is pretty exciting. Islands Adventure has not gotten a new land since the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. We've seen the same lands with new attractions added, but now that the Lost Continent is probably on its way out, seeing a new island in that park, I think is going to be pretty cool.
And I'm fairly positive that it will be a new island because, like we were saying before, like Lost Continent's not like overly popular, and I couldn't see them sticking with that theme and making something grandiose to go in that area.
Yeah. Which is a shame.
Continuing with that theme.
Because I always said I think that a big top spin like Talakan, like picture Talakan at Fantasialand in Lost Continent. Oh, it'd be amazing. And Islands of Adventure is lacking flat rides.
It is.
They just don't have any. So honestly, maybe that's something else they do. They do like a dark ride or indoor roller coaster or something and put like a really cool, like thrilling flat ride. I think that would be actually a fantastic addition to this
Do you think
park.
they'd stick with this theme though?
No.
Well, rest in peace to Poseidon's Fury, because that was a really, really cool attraction. I'll miss the water tunnel. Making way for something new and hopefully better.
I know. So come out and do it before it closes in early May. I know we'll at least do one more walkthrough.
We're probably going to do it right after this.
Let us know down in the comments below what you think is going to be the future of Islands of Adventure. What's going to replace the Lost Continent?
And don't say, Giga. I know someone here is going to do it. I'm stopping you preemptively.
There's always someone. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next time.